The following show will feature some language and content that may offend some people. If you feel like complaining, simply save us all the time and energy and turn us off now. With that being said, Men In Armchairs proudly presents to you... Hello, welcome to a brand new show from the Geek King, and of course Kai's Brew Entertainment, with mixed in with a bit of MIA, Men In Armchairs. You can see myself and Stevie Boss is right here. Boss, say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody.
Alright, basically the idea behind the new show, as you can see, is called Bookmarks. We're going to take TEW, Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, and we're going to turn that into a bit of a GM mode sort of thing for it, since we heavily inspired by Battle of the Brands from Up, Up, Down, Down, but also the fact that we just enjoyed that game ourselves, and we thought, why don't we change it up a little bit and do things a little different. Basically, Bookmarks, we're going to take TEW 2020. We're going to use Questlove's real-world mod that he's been doing for updating from Fleisch, which is an excellent mod. I really enjoy playing it. We're going to use his August 2020 data, which is the first data that he actually released fully for 2020. With that, we're going to take the current WWE mod. Company, we're going to run Raw as myself, as you can see, represented by the lovely red and Raw logo, and Stevie Boss is a SmackDown man, and plus blue's his favourite colour, so you know it works out quite well. We're going to do it today. It's draft day. We're going to take a complete complete draft, and from there we're going to do it. Now, Boss is a massive fan of drafts. It doesn't matter if we play a GM mode or not. Boss does a draft.
Yep, always do a draft.
And if he's playing a mod or a game that doesn't have a brand split, he will do one.
I'll find a way, damn it! I'll find a way.
So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to quickly run through the rounds that we're going to have and how it's going to work. Now the draft will work in a very snake pattern, which means whoever gets the first pick will then get we'll go first pick, then second pick. Whoever gets the second pick will then get the first pick of the next round. And so on and so on. Now, what we're going to have to do, though, Boss, is find out who gets first pick, because we haven't actually discussed that.
We haven't, no. But...
So, I don't know, we'll find a coin flipping bloody app or something, that'll do it. Or if I have a coin on me. Who has cash these days? I think Corona's destroyed it.
I have pound coins on me.
Oh, well.
Here. Or I could just get a coin flipping app and just hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, do it. We'll just flip the actual coin.
Okay, sure thing.
It's pretty easy, yeah. Right, but first things first, we'll do the draft rules, which are... The draft will have 5 rounds. Round 1 will be current WWE roster male superstars. Round 2 will be the current female superstars on the roster. Round 3 will be any current non-wrestlers in the WWE. There's no set number of that. Essentially, there's only about 8 of them, I think. And, you know, if you want to pick a couple of people, you can pick a couple of people, but you will be picking one person at a time. Round 4 will be free agents. Now, this will be anyone signed to a non-exclusive contract outside of the WWE. So anyone who's signed to an exclusive written or exclusive handshake will not be eligible due to the fact that it would pretty much break a lot of rosters.
Oh, yes.
And round 5 will be the interesting one, in my opinion, as round 5 will be legend imports for any time period. General manager's choice of legend and time period. Essentially, what will happen with that is that we will take any particular drafts, any particular superstar for any sort of old mod, and we will then turn it into the current mod. We'll import them in, we'll change the data to make so that it matches anything in particular that we need for the time period. Only in aspects of adjusting so that it's not stupidly priced when it comes to wage or anything like that. Everything else, though, will remain the same, including attributes, personality, and skill set. So it'll be an interesting one on that. Now, the draft, as I said, has been broken down. Now, me and Boss have both got draft sheets in front of ourselves, so you may see us looking away a couple of times on the camera just to check things, update things as well. And we will also be pretty much maybe typing a couple of times as well, because there'll be some interesting choices going on this one, I believe.
Absolutely.
What we'll do as well, we'll see how the time is. The plan is to go for the full draft, but if we need to split it up due to time, maybe time's getting a bit long, we'll do that, and we'll make sure, and we'll see how it goes. But at the moment, the plan is to go the whole round. Now,
yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
I've located a 20p coin,
All right.
so I shall flip it. Now, I've already flipped
Yeah.
it there, so please feel free to call it. What would you like?
Heads.
It is tails, sir.
Yep, I can see that. Yeah, I'll take that. All right. Well, SmackDown gets
Yeah.
the first pick of the draft. And with that being said,
So, doing that, does that mean that Raw would like the first pick in the women's?
yeah, we can do that. We can do that. That's fair. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
you get the first pick of the free agents, and I would get the first pick of the legends.
Yeah, if you're happy to do it that way.
Yep, I'm happy to do that. All right. So,
Okay.
with that being said, let's go to the draft.
Yes, because, as everyone knows, I successfully defeated Carriage Brew in the coin toss. A little bit of bad there for you. My first pick of the 2020 draft will be the Artist Collective.
And that's a very good pick, and I'd love to show the people that. However, right now, we're having a bit of a technical issue.
Yes. So basically, just to explain what the Artist Collective is, that is Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And whilst working out some stuff here, just a little added note, you may be asking about champions. Everyone is eligible to be drafted, just like if we were playing GM mode on like the Battle of the Brands, for example, between Xavier Woods and Austin Creed. Austin Creed and Xavier Woods. Yes, Stephen, well done. Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze is what I meant to say. You would pick your champions once you have your roster established. So
Yes, that will be what we're doing. I do apologise about this. I think I've got... Oh, there we go. We're sorted. We're actually on the right page now. I was going to be using a handy little app to try and get this sorted. However, the issue is that the app doesn't particularly want to work. So, there we go.
We're in the age of technology.
Aren't we just?
Yes.
And... please work. Oh, you're going to fucking take your time now, aren't you? I have everything ready to go. It's ready to set. It is just... There's a bit of an issue with... I think Modoc, my computer's taking its time going, please don't do.
So which screen? So which screen is what I should be paying attention to? Because it's on one side, it's on the edit side.
This one.
Of course, of course.
The one that's not on. Because it all works in theory. When you test it, everything's fine, and then as soon as you try and do the fucking thing,
Geek, this is what happens when you let Kevin Dunn handle the editing.
I like the fact that I'm not even sure if we're still recording because my fucking app, the OBS, has completely just stopped telling me any sort of information. I can see us moving, but I can't see any sort of time. I can't see anything else. All right. It's all right. We can pick it up. We can pick it up.
It'll be fine. Fine.
What I need to do, though, is I do need to make the note of the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura... There we go!
Hey!
I have a funny feeling about the way this fucking show is going to go.
Hey, it'll still be better than fucking early Impact. It will be fine.
Okay, yep. So I think Modoc was taking a little bit of a moment there because it wouldn't even the fucking Excel sheet was like, I don't want to.
Well, as we're waiting for things to load up, we could always give a little bit of insight as to why we picked these. Draft
Well,
picks.
go for the Artist Collective. That's an interesting pick for the first one, to be fair.
Yeah. So a lot of people might be going, well, why didn't you get this person and that person and all that stuff, and they're all fair points. Why not pick the most popular or, the highest scoring and stuff like that? And the reason is, as good as that is, I want to be able to, not just work with people who I know I can book, but also, work with people who I can elevate. And people who are going to be very versatile. So they're not just going to be working as a tag team, they could work as single stars as well. So any draft pick that you make has to have a level of versatility to them to make sure that you aren't just booking like, oh, these are going to be my new tag team champions, or this is going to be my new world champion. You've got to make sure that as things change, because you never know who's going to get injured, you never know when someone randomly dies, so you need to be ready. You need to have the right people on your roster to be able to make that work.
Yes, because for those who are wondering, Kenny deaths are on, so random deaths will happen. Because it's just hilarious to me to see the fucking shit that gets spewed out once, like, a main eventer just dies randomly. And so, that's fair enough. I'm sorry, I'm getting emails off screen and it's annoying me.
I know the feeling.
Alright, so that was the first pick of SmackDown. A hell of a pick with two former, actually, all three of them former Intercontinental champions. I think Cesaro held the belt, I think.
I don't think Cesaro has ever been Intercontinental champion. I knew he's been US champion.
Well, yeah. So two former US champions, two Intercontinental champions, current tag team in IRL as well, champions, and you have had, obviously, Sami Zayn had a career as well. Two former NXT champions as well. And I'm going to go kind of what you should expect from the Geek King. My number one pick for Monday Night Raw is The Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Excellent
which
choice.
will be coming with you in about 2 minutes, apparently.
Dude,
Don't mention the war. Alright. But yeah, I'm going for Fiend. It's kind of obvious why I'm going to go for The Fiend. He's probably the most over person in the company. I feel as if I'm going to win this, I need a strong main event scene, as well as a strong lower card. So I'm happy. The Fiend was my number one pick. I'm very happy he was still there. I'm curious to see how Boss's second pick goes, purely because of the fact that will pretty much set up how the rest of my draft goes, because I was shocked with his first pick, to be honest with you. So it's a very interesting way. I promise
there's definitely game theory going on. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's not like you to do a game theory draft. Usually you're like, well, no, I'll just go for the guys I want, and I'll try and make Heath Slater the number one guy in the company.
This one has been very much a case of, okay, who's Geek gonna draft? And trying to work at it on that level as well. Been like, okay, because I've got to think about, as we say, Bray Wyatt. Funny enough, The Fiend wasn't even on my list.
Really?
Wasn't on my list.
The most over guy in the company, and you're like, nah, don't want him.
Yeah, because he may be the most over guy, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to use him effectively. So there's no point in me booking. So that goes back to what I was saying. Yes, I could book the people who have got some of the best stats in terms of popularity and mic work and in-ring performance. But if I can't use that, if I can't execute that properly because of the way my creativity works, or lack thereof, there's no point in me getting that person.
Wow, that's a self-burn. I
know.
All right.
That's a fantastic. By the way, I just checked there. Cesaro has indeed never held the Intercontinental Championship.
Fair enough. All right, boss.
Which
second.
is a travesty.
I believe it's my next pick as well now.
It is your next pick. This is where I get nervous.
So my next pick is.
Why did you? What? Yeah. So. Oh God, I'm so nervous. Okay.
Yeah. So for those who haven't clicked on, yes, we've had some issues, and I won't be editing it out because fuck it, why should I? Because that's pretty much how Geek edits. You should know that by now. But Boss can see what's happening, so he is getting a little bit of a preview beforehand on the drafts. Which is why his reaction will be as it is. Essentially, though, my next pick, while I click it now, is a former IWGP champion, a former TNA champion, a former WWE champion, a former United States champion, and quite frankly, is phenomenal. My pick is the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Good pick. Was on my list. He was on my list.
What's hilarious to me is that I've literally just went almost alphabetical order in my picks. Because the Fiend is set up as So yeah, I mean AJ Styles. I think I read his not even all of his resume there. He was a pure champion in Ring of Honor. He's, I believe, a Grand Slam champion, maybe the only or the first ever at least TNA Grand Slam champion. As he pops up on your screen there for you, because he held the tag team titles obviously with CD as well as Tomko. He was a Legends champion. He was the obviously the world champion and X Division champion. So, that's right. Did I strike well, he was a Legends champion.
Legends champion. Always
So-
buying a King of the Mountain fucking championship.
It was the same belt, bruh.
I know it was. That belt was also the television championship
And the global championship.
and the global championship.
I've never known a belt that had more gimmicks.
I know. It's like
A belt has its gimmick when it's first. It doesn't have a belt. You don't give the gimmick to another. Like, no, just stop. It's like they turned around and went, the Intercontinental belt is now the 24/7 title, and you're like, but you've already got a 20. I said it's a 20. Oh, yeah. I guess. Like,
to be honest with you, when they revealed the 24/7 title, I was surprised it wasn't the TNA Global Championship.
Fair play. All right. With that being said, then, boss, your next pick.
All right, my next pick.
I'm gonna have to try and guess this as we go.
So SmackDown's second pick. Oh, Internet! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your world-famous multi-time champs and feel the power! It's a new day! Yes, it is!
Wow. You're gonna have a lie down now, aren't you?
Nope.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I may have a seizure during this episode.
Are you sure? Because I don't think I've ever heard you pop like that in a long time.
Dude, that actually woke me up a bit, you know?
So, the collective unit of Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods make their way to what has effectively been their home for a while, the Blue Brand.
I mean, their resume kind of speaks for themselves, but we're looking at three incredibly talented individuals who just happen to be an incredibly fantastic stable. You know, we've got a former WWE champion there, former Intercontinental champion in two of them there, former United States champion in Kofi Kingston as well. Like Xavier Woods is the only of the three that should have had more accolades. Maybe probably plagued by being looked down upon a bit and also some injuries. But these three individuals are not just a team I can work with, but three extraordinary talents that I feel I could build a fantastic roster around.
And I mean, it's a hell of a pick, to be honest with you, mate. It really is. It's a very clever way of doing it. You know, you've gone for not only, as you say, group talent, but individual talent as well. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's a very strong way of going with things. Okay, so that's a good idea. Now, obviously, I think we could pretty much could talk all day on a New Day. I mean, Big E alone is a hell of a character and a personality, but also a wrestler. Xavier Woods, to me, is probably one of the more underrated talents on the roster right now. And Kofi Kingston may have had the greatest WrestleMania moment in the last 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
So
You're absolutely right, and it's for that reason why I picked them. Absolutely.
And so with that being said, then, boss, yes, your second pick, or the next pick of the next round.
My third pick, SmackDown's third pick of the draft. Two incredibly talented performers. I'm going for The Miz and Morrison.
All right, the Dirt Sheet, interesting.
We're going to be changing the name of the Dirt Sheet. That's what we like to use. But yeah. The Dirt Sheet, again, you've got a former WWE champion in there. You've got a former multi-time world champion in John Morrison in various promotions, Lucha Underground and Impact and so forth. Two talents that have their own styles. They work well together. But again, two individuals that I can build as well. I don't have to keep them as a team. I can always split them up in these three. But they, along with the Arts Collective, will form a very strong heel side of the roster. So that's why I picked them in this particular case. I think they're going to be... Because despite your amazing first couple of picks, which, is still something to worry about for me personally as SmackDown GM. I still think that what I've got is a good balance of talent so far. So no matter how the rest of the draft goes, at least I feel like I've got a bit of a balance going on here. So,
very much so. I mean, you've got and also you've done well. You've done 3 picks and you have like 7 talent.
8 talent, yes, because I've got.
Oh, sorry, yes, because Sammy's. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah.
Sami Zayn, yeah.
I miscounted that as well. So 8 talent. It's a hell of an idea. But as you say, not only do you have individuals that you can, you've chose stable members that are strong as a team, but also individuals. And then the Miz and Morrison, the dirt sheet. That's a very strong way to go. And I am going to go similar on my next pick.
Oh, interesting.
For my next pick, it is possibly a bit high.
Okay.
But I'm going to go for a tag team that I'm going to build my division around.
Yeah.
Because Geek, being a Kaj Brew and the thunder that rolls the mountain, well, Geek wants the smoke.
Yeah.
I am going for Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits.
Alright, yep, they were on my list. I will be absolutely honest, they were on my list.
I mean, I could tell that by the reaction, to be honest with you, bro. But yeah.
Tell us a bit more about the Street Profits.
Street Profits, former NXT tag team champions in one of the best ladder matches I've watched in about 10 years, with on NXT TakeOver 25. The Montez Ford has unbelievable talent. Like, he is very much a man that will be able to do anything he wants to do in this business. Charismatic as hell. Angelo Dawkins as well is just one of those things that is going to be such a fun dude. He's a good talent as well, as I've said. And also the former Raw Tag Team Champions, current Raw Tag Team Champions even as well. And they can put on matches with lots of different styles, so I've got no problems with that. And also, as I've said, they are something you can build around the future there. At some point, you could probably split them off and have, Tez do his own thing, Dorks do his own thing, but still leave room for that next set of matches or something, Now
I'm starting to get really nervous because it's your next pick.
It is, and I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with another tag team.
Okay.
And I'm going to go for possibly the best tag team that's come out of the Performance Center ever.
Oh, fuck.
I am going to go for Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
Oh.
Because when you feel that little nerve in the back of your head, you feel your hair pick up in the back of your neck, that ain't paranoia. That's the Usos.
You magnificent bastard.
So yeah, I mean, as soon as you took the New Day, I knew I had to get the Usos.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
So you need strong tag teams. Plus, also, like, once again, it's difficult to imagine it, but it's possible to split the Usos up.
Yes.
Both of them are very good workers. They've both got charisma. I would say to myself that Jimmy's a little bit more charismatic than Jay, just from what I've seen on certain aspects of it. But also, I mean, like, if one of them gets down and injured, one of them, or whatever happens, contract negotiations fall through or whatever, you've got a hell of a talent in the other Uso. Like, it's just one of those things,
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's
an excellent pick.
So I mean,
excellent pick.
So I know if I have to run down I could be all day telling you how many times they've won the tag team championships on either thing. But essentially, I think they're members of the 6-time club at least. Like,
yeah, surely they are at this point.
So yeah, I'm gonna go for Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, are my pick. The next couple of picks obviously belong to SmackDown.
Well, SmackDown for their 4th pick picks a former WWE champion, a former World Heavyweight champion, former Intercontinental champion, former United States champion, former Tag Team champion. I'm talking about Daniel Bryan.
Wow, that was not where I thought you were going there. I'll be honest with you. I was trying to preemptively pick it, but yes, I get Daniel Bryan. Yeah, that's a hell of a pick. That's a good way of going.
Daniel Bryan was one of the ones I was like, because I had him number 4 on my list because I was like, if Geek doesn't pick him in the first 4, he's not gonna get him in time.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I was like,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of rankings that I've got based on game theory. Where
Yeah.
it's not about is Geek gonna pick him? Is when would Geek pick him? So probably not the smartest idea in the world to announce this, during the draft.
Nah.
But it's all for fun. Exactly. Which one was that one? George already?
I'm going to say George. For those who don't know, Geek has 2 Labrador puppies, and they're called George and Eddie. And although people would say that they're not named after wrestlers, obviously they are. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, boss. Obviously, we got Daniel Bryan there. You want to run through some of his accolades?
I mean, I've run through some of them already. I mean, we're talking about it just in WWE alone. WWE World Heavyweight, Intercontinental, United States, Tag Team. The only thing that I'm surprised he hasn't ever gotten is the fucking Cruiserweight at this point.
I mean, I think he's like 207, so maybe he's just too big.
Just too big, yeah. That's something that Daniel Bryan's heard a lot of in his life. You're just too big, kid.
That's what Bree said.
But yeah, I mean, it's working ROH. In fact, just around the fucking world, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bit of an ROH kick in the last couple of days, to be honest with you, and I've just watched Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe early in the career, but it's just...
Delirious is booking ROH at the moment.
I had heard that, yes.
Yeah. So, could be interesting to see what
essentially,
happens there.
well, Delirious had the book beforehand, so...
Exactly. Yeah.
Bit interesting. Now, your next pick, boss.
Well, I'm going for a tag team. And a manager. You know who it is already, don't you?
I have a feeling I haven't set them up as a fucking tag team.
Well, it's Andrade and Angel Garza with Zelina Vega.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts. I'll quickly do some fucking moving around. At least
yeah. So let me tell you about this. So again, this one about tag team potential. It is about that individual list. But you've got to look at, Andrade. Andrade, former United States champion, former NXT champion. I don't know if you want to say world champion at this stage.
I just say NXT. It's what it is. So
yeah. So former NXT champion. And as for Angel Garza's got one hell of a career ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got one hell of a future. And yes, I'm sure I could use him really, really well in the tag team division. He's also someone that I can build up to be a strong, intercontinental or US contender. Because I forget which belt. I think it's intercontinental I have.
Yeah, SmackDown has the intercontinental. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so he could be a strong intercontinental contender, whilst someone could end up, universal scene. If rather than a tag team, I pursue them as a stable. But again, just raw talent, and
very much so.
Another thing that I've been looking at in terms of who to get on my roster, because we've got some heavy hitters in Daniel Bryan, in Cesaro, and she's going to go more. So you've got people who've already got the established popularity and stuff like that. But someone like Andrade and especially Angel Garza, who is still in the the raw days of his career, could definitely, I should say the raw days of his WWE career.
Yes.
Could definitely be a huge plus for SmackDown. And of course, later down in the seasons, when we look at the lotteries and stuff like that, who knows the talent that I could have built up that may find their home on Monday Night Raw.
That's very true. It's very true. And Andrade, in particular, is a favourite of mine.
Absolutely.
I am a big fan of Andrade. He's got a hell of an upside. And Zelina Vega may be This is going to sound like big praise, but it's really not if you consider it. She may be the last real manager in professional wrestling.
I could see that. I can see what you mean by that.
Because she seems to appear, the appearance of what the WWE is that she does everything. She builds everything as well. And traditionally you don't get you traditionally get female valets and they do this and that and they look pretty outside, whereas she has very much been given almost a Bobby Heenan like role within the company. The reason it's taking a little longer for the picture, guys, is as I said, I hadn't set them up, so I'm just currently doing it, which may be why you've noticed a little bit of interference as well in the recording. So I do
it's live, pal.
Hey pal, god damn it.
Yeah. Okay. No, let's do that again. We're live, pal.
Yeah. There's always time to mock Sid.
Always time to mock Sid.
If you don't believe me, ask the Outlaws.
I only have half the brain that you do.
Yeah, and he's talking to Kevin Nash.
I love how he claims that. That was written for him to bury him, which is like, you had the option of reading it or not reading it, dumbass. If that were true.
Yeah, I mean it's like Bruce Pritchard always says,
Yeah.
It's live. As long as you're willing to take the chew out. What's it gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know what they did with that. Because obviously I didn't watch WCW, but I probably would have rolled with it. I would have just become the dumb monster that I can't do calculus, but I can rip both your arms off.
Oh, I mean that would have been made more sense than what they actually did.
Oh, what did they do? Make him a Harvard professor?
No, they just made Scott Hall and Kevin Nash mock him in the middle of the ring, and then it was forgot about. There we go. See, that's what work on the flank.
That's that click booking at work.
All right.
Yes. So far, whilst we're just so we could give them a bit of time to actually be on the screen.
Yes.
So far, just kind of run down on the SmackDown side. We're looking at the Art Collective, the New Day, Miz and Morrison, Daniel Bryan, and of course now Andrade and Gaza with Zelina Vega. So a very interesting roster, I would like to think. And Raw is looking good as well. Yeah,
well, on Raw side we have the Fiend Bray Wyatt, the phenomenal AJ Styles, the Street Profits, and the Usos.
Oozing with talent.
Yes. Now,
oozing with talent.
Now, as we can see, obviously we got the Artist Collective, we got the Andrade Collective, I guess, the Vega Collective. On the screen.
I'm looking forward to coming up with a name.
I usually call them Los Ingobernables Ídolos because obviously Andrade was a founding member of Los Ingobernables.
Unfortunately, so I'm not that clever.
So yeah, I mean, I think as well. I mean, you're looking at second generation talent, and both the males there. Angel Garza is I believe, the nephew of Hector Garza, who was a WCW cruiserweight for a long time. And Andrade was I can't remember the name of the man who is his father's gimmick name, but obviously is a second generation, maybe even, and I know he's got relatives amongst the AAA and CMLL roster as well. So a very talented team. And obviously Selena Vega, friends with The Rock, so that's all you need to know there. So excellent. All right, so that's a very interesting way to go with that, boss. So now I'm going to have to pick mine. And I'm going to go...
This concerns me.
I'm going to go with a few veterans.
A few veterans?
A few veterans for you know what? Business is good.
Oh.
And I'm going to take Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin... The Hurt Business.
No.
Shelton Benjamin.
You got the Usos. You have to.
So yeah, and the great thing about that is obviously once again it gives me options.
Yes.
I have a former Intercontinental Champion in two of them there actually, with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, multiple time tag team champions in the MVP, half man, half amazing, and Shelton Benjamin, the world's greatest tag team, as well as a former United States champion, I believe all three of them.
Yep.
And Bobby Lashley, obviously former Impact World Champion as well. MVP was at one point the owner of Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
So, and
stranger things have happened.
And obviously, Shelton Benjamin was able to survive Suzuki-san in New Japan as part of Suzuki-gun. So he's a tough sumbitch. So yeah, I need to throw some veterans on there. I need to obviously have some talent I can work with a little bit in multiple areas on there as well.
Yeah. Again, hell of a talent and hell of a team. You know, you can't fault that pick.
All right, and just to make my next pick a little easier on your boss, you know,
I don't believe that for a second.
I know, right, that you're worried about you're worried about what happens if you get someone that you don't think you can work with.
Oh no!
What happens if you get someone that you don't know? I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. I mean, it's real simple. All you've got to do is sit down and think about it really easily, and just go, bro.
Yep.
Because the king of bros is coming to the Geek King.
Yeah. Funnily enough, was not on my list.
See, I knew it. I'm gonna make things easy for you.
Yep, he was not on my list.
Oh, he's definitely on my list. I know how to book him easily. So yeah, I mean, Matt Riddle is. His resume speaks for himself. Former Evolve champion, NXT standout. Obviously, a former tag team champion down NXT with a bruiserweight as part of the Broserweights. I think he's got a hell of an upside in not just actually what he does, but also in his ability to get the crowd involved. The crowd love him.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm so actually surprised he's not on your list. I thought for a younger prospect he might have been, but
it's more of a creative issue.
Fair play.
I don't want to be the guy that hires people just because I like them, but then I give them nothing to do.
Fair enough. All right, well that case then, boss, go for it. I know at least a couple of mine have threw you for a loop, so I'm interested now.
Welcome to Claymore Country.
That hurts. That hurts.
Yep, I'm taking Drew McIntyre.
So the chosen
Game
one.
theory, it works. It's like, if he hasn't picked him by this point, I've got him. Science, bitches.
Oh, you can science it all you want, son.
I have. And I got Drew McIntyre as a result. Game theory successful, sir. Drew McIntyre is a man that I have nothing but the utmost respect for. Drew McIntyre, current WWE champion, obviously IRL.
Yep.
You know, former Intercontinental champion, multi-time tag team champion, former NXT champion, former Impact champion. I mean, there's very few titles he hasn't held.
ICW Hall of Famer, ICW World Champion. Yeah. He's actually the man who made it the World Championship. Evolve champion as well. Very
WCPW.
Yeah, man.
He was in WCPW for a while, and
that's not shit. That's not real.
But the thing is, this is a guy who literally transformed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're going to hear a running joke throughout this because you're going to see my booking style, you're going to see the kind of shenanigans I go to. But honestly, I respect this man because he came into the business a fit young man. Hardly chiseled out stone, but a fit young man.
The chosen one.
Yeah, he ended up out. He was letting himself get into a more, I would say, fit average. He was never ever unfit, but there was clearly signs of being let down by the machine. And then he went, you know what? I'm going to transform myself, and I'm going to become undeniable, as Cody Rhodes would like to say. And he came back as Drew Galloway, forged his name in history, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Came back to WWE, righted the ultimate wrongs, and now he's the man who once was the chosen one, member of the three-man band, and then is the man to conquer Brock Lesnar. So this is a man who I foresee many things. Not just in my game, but in real life.
Yeah,
many accolades to come.
What's very odd though, boss, I mean, think about it this way, that he was the second man out of 3MB to win the World Championship.
I know! Everyone knows it should have been Heath Slater first.
I know, but it wasn't. It was Jinder. Heath's the only member. Heath was the leader of 3MB, and he's the only man who's never won a World Championship out of the company.
Look, I like Jinder as WWE champion. I liked him. He was just basically another version of JBL.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rich guy who speaks some truth, and I hold the title. Screw you all. Yes, he got into some shady ground in some places, but we'll not go there.
Yeah, he brought the Punjabi prison match back. That's all I need to know about him.
So are you ready for my next pick?
Yes.
I'm going to take another favourite mine and another foreigner to the US lands. And a close friend of Drew McIntyre. I shall take Sheamus.
Oh, you're reuniting the Empire.
It's a shameful thing. You lost your head.
So the old Celtic...
You'll know it.
Lobster head. Too many limes.
Too many limes. Ah, we're gonna get content ID'd because we're that good.
I mean, I sound just like it.
Yeah. You're a songster.
You're a bit pitchy.
Yeah. I'm. Those singing videos are a waste of my time.
I never said that,
Oh.
so don't put that shit on me. No. I wish.
Was it Iron Brew?
It is actually. Speaking of a Scottish and an Irishman,
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a Scottish man and a ginger,
You're just sad that you didn't get Sheamus.
I mean, I'm not
He's
actually.
going to be the backbone of your roster, sir.
Yeah, that's why he's picked like 6.
Yes.
He got picked 6 because he was going to be the backbone of my roster.
Yeah. Sheamus, and again, now Sheamus, we're looking at former United States champion, former WWE champion, former world champion, multi-time tag team champion. Again, this is a man who has accomplished a huge amount, and again, started off as one of these people who's like, he's only getting anywhere because he's a gym buddy of Triple H, he hasn't got any talent. And then he's like, well, I do have fucking talent, here's my fucking talent. And then of course when he turns face, everyone's like, I don't know what you're talking about, I never said anything about Triple H. Wankers. I'm just a fan of his work ethic. I'm a fan of him outside the ring. I'm a fan of him inside the ring. I think he's an excellent worker. I think he's a legitimate champion. I don't think he's a transitional champion when he holds it. And also, man, I'm a fan of that boot.
You do love a big boot-like move, don't you?
I do. I love the bro kick. I love it. It's a fantastic thing. And it's going to be absolutely... it's going to be absolutely fun working with him. And, I've always got the possibility of, reuniting the bar.
The bar!
Yeah. We don't set the bar, we don't reach the bar as well.
We don't just set the we don't set the bar, we are the bar.
We are the bar. Yeah, so that's what it is. Geek's doing some image stuff on the screen, so I'm not looking at the screen right now.
Yes, I just realised I forgot.
I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at you, future SmackDown viewers. You who will be loyal fan base of the SmackDown brand, and you Raw types who will be watching a show with probably superior booking. But that's beside the point.
I mean,
me and Geek do have very different booking styles. His works, mine doesn't. So I'm the Xavier Woods, the Austin Creed of this whole thing, where I will bitch and moan about algorithms and all that wonderful shit till the cows come home, because that way I don't have to admit that I suck. But I like to try my best. You see, I am a bit like Xavier Woods, where I book what I'd like to see, but I tell you what I struggle with. I struggle with taking my feelings out of the equation. So if there's someone that I really just don't like, it's really hard for me to book them, even though they've got the stats for me to book them.
Yes, which is why I think a couple of people are still sitting on the roster.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here going, there's a couple of people I expected to be gone before I had the opportunity to do this. And I'm like, I know what it is. Boss just doesn't like them.
Yeah. It's either that I don't like them or I don't know how to work with them. So just because I don't pick someone doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just that, I may not know how to best work with them.
All right.
So there are some people who are on my who aren't on my list purely because I'd love to work with them, but fuck, do I have an idea of what to do with them?
That's fair enough. And now
I'm about to look at this. I'm now about to look at the screen and see who Geek's booked.
Yes. I've gone for my brother from another mother, Because if you've seen the recent look of the dude, it basically looks like the Geek King.
Yes, Brotherhood of the Beard. Sorry, I'm just deleting him off my list.
Because I've just gone for the monster among men, Braun Strowman. And
so Raw's gonna get these hands.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. Like, I'm a massive fan of Braun. I think he's got a lot of potential, a lot of things already. He's former Intercontinental Champion, former Universal Champion, current Universal Champion even.
Yeah.
And his character work seems to be really cool. He can actually play comedy really well for a big man and a monster, so that's quite cool.
Yeah.
And I just think there's a lot of aspects that I can do with Braun, as well as the fact that I've pretty much been a fan from him since he was squashing people on the initial draft, because it was just fun to watch, bro. Like, just
I
watching
imagine it was.
Just watching some big guy destroy someone. It took me back to my childhood, when I used to do it.
I remember those days. You know, now as I sit here at the tall 5'5", I remember when I used to lord over my. No, I was always a small boy in a world of fucking giants.
And now you have the Kaiser Brew as your best friend, so you know.
Yeah. Thou shalt have no fear, for thou hast geek.
Alright, I've got to wait for a second while this unfucking freezes. I guarantee, guys, in a moment you're going to get another transition to the exact same picture. Because computers.
I mean, it's one hell of a roster I think we both have right now. I think it's interesting that we've essentially swapped champions. You know,
so, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You know, so that's going to be interesting. Because obviously the one thing that we still don't know is, so who's going to be given what titles on the next show? Like, and will they be given them, or will they be tournaments and stuff like that? You know, it's hard.
I mean, that'll be very much up to the first episode of both shows, I guess.
I imagine it would be, yes.
So what I think effectively for myself, I'm waiting until the draft is complete for me to work out what I'm going to do with the champions.
We've got a long way to go.
We have, and I'm going to tell you right now, my next pick is it's tearing me, because I have one that I really want to pick because I think he's going to be gone by the time I next get a choice.
Okay.
Or I need to go right. I really do need to like flesh out the roster a bit more. But
I know who my next two picks are. So if you pick either of them, like there's one of them I'd be like, okay, not terrible, and another one I'd be like, you prick.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with the one that I really want, because I'm worried about him not being there, and that is the anti-hero, Aleister Black.
He wasn't next on my list, but yeah, that stings. That does sting. that stings. Shit.
Yeah, the former NXT champion, the man in my... Oh, where are you going? You're walking away from it. You're on camera, motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's getting dim here in the fucking cold wastelands of Stanley.
I'm surprised we're allowed in and out of Stanley right now. COVID jokes.
There goes any monetization you wanted.
I didn't.
You know, you're not... Yeah, you literally can't say that without getting demonetized.
Yeah, I figured as much.
That's why the Game Grumps used to turn Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
But yeah,
which I would argue is worse.
Hey, now number 5.
Fine, Westlife.
There you go. That's the worst one.
There you go.
Yeah, for myself. Yeah, but
who said a Raw guy and a SmackDown guy can't get along?
Don't say that. That's when you turn up and tell us maths.
Give me the fucking mic.
Yeah, big pop and pump trying to teach us maths.
There are some younger wrestling fans going, what are they talking about?
I mean, if yeah, probably.
Aleister Black. Oof.
Yeah, I needed Aleister Black. I needed the pick pretty much because I was worried about him going pretty soon. He's a talent that not only do I see him probably being in my Intercontinental title, United States title competition right now, but if I get the opportunity to book him for a few game years, he'll be a Universal Champion or WWE Champion even easily.
Well, It's a strong pick, and I hate you for it.
All right, so I believe, boss, you've got the next two picks. So
Yes. So, for a moment, I was tempted to swap two picks around, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with my list, and I'm going to select a tag team next. Cedric Alexander and Ricochet.
okay, that's not that could have been worse. That could have been worse for me. They were on my list. They were going to be one of my probably not my next pick, but they were going to be on there. And like, but yeah, that's a hell of a team. That's definitely a team for the future. And once again, as we've said a few times already, something that can split off and be its own thing. Yeah, well done on that one, boss. That's a really strong one.
And up next,
Hold on. Let's Ced and Ricochet get on.
Picture. Yeah, let's get. Sorry. So let me talk about. So Ricochet, I first was introduced to him as Prince Puma.
Yes.
In Lucha Underground.
Although that's not strictly true.
It's not strictly true, but it's the first time I've really sat down to watch his work.
Yeah, I mean, I had shown you Ricochet in PWG, but you tend to.
Yeah, I didn't say a lot of it because I was hiding. You know.
Yeah.
That shit. Fuck.
You
trust me, when you see he got a bicycle, you'll see what we mean.
Yeah. Yeah, the issue of the boss and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is very much of he doesn't watch a lot of it, and what he does, he blocks out from memory. It's too.
Look, in this house, we obey the laws of physics.
Do we?
Fucking people flying around and shit. And fucking. Let's 5 flips again and then eat a sandwich before I reach the ground. Like, what the fuck is that? It's ridiculous. I'll have none of it, sir. I'll have none of it. These beautiful bastards I run the screen out. These guys here, fucking amazing guys. Look.
Yeah, I mean Cedric Alexander, former member of CNC, former obviously former 24/7 champion, current 24/7 champion,
current 24/7 champion.
I believe a 205 Live champion as well. He may have held another championship, although I don't believe he has on WWE. Ricochet, former NXT North American champion, former United States champion, former PWG champion, Battle of Los Angeles winner, and a hell of a career in Evolve as well. And of course, as Prince Puma, the first, I believe, Lucha Underground champion. Yep. So yeah, hell of a thing. And obviously for me, the thing that really sells me on both of them is that they have unbelievable ability. Wasn't
he also the first 2-time Lucha Underground champion?
Possibly. Lucha Underground all kind of merges together for me. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome, but I remember more it being about dragons and dinosaurs and shit. Than
it was fucking awesome.
I said it was awesome. I
wasn't complaining. I was just very enthusiastically agreeing.
But yeah, I mean, I remember it being more about dinosaurs and like shit and like dragons and moths and.
We've got to add Lucha Underground episodes to You Got a Bicycle.
I mean, we can, but there's a massive issue with that. There's no way of watching it over in the UK.
I will find a way.
Okay, we'll work on that.
If we ever get a Patreon, we'll do it as a Patreon. if you want to break the law, we can't stop you. All right, true. My next pick.
Yep.
Some would call him a good hand. Some would refer to him as a former world champion. Some would refer to him as one of the best in-ring workers of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
And some would call him the Prince of Raw Underground. I simply call him Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, that was where I was going. Thought it was going, but I'm all right with that. Yeah. Yep, I was worried for a second there, but now I'm not.
Can I just say that I am now petrified for your next two choices? As I'm looking at my list, I'm looking at you, going, "This is where game theory could fall." But Dolph Ziggler, as I said, former 2-time world heavyweight champion, former Intercontinental champion, former United States champion, multiple-time tag. The accolades go on and on. Was the last surviving member of the Team Cena versus Team Authority at Survivor Series. Obviously with the help of Sting, but then again, that's absolutely fine. I don't know. Am I frozen?
Yes, it looks as if you are.
Well, What a face to be frozen on it. We're back. Hello. Sorry, that wasn't freezing. That was me having a seizure. Yes, that was me and my FND.
That was Modoc having a fucking seizure.
But yes, Dolph Ziggler has, is able to sell incredibly well, but he's also able to wrestle well. He's got a firm grasp of the industry, and obviously good mic talent as well. I know some people I've recently spoke to disagree and think he says the same old shit. I go, fuck you, you're wrong, and I win because, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's very much, Dolph Ziggler's a hell of a talent. He is very much underrated, but also, he's kind of in that weird space. He's underrated, but also kind of overrated, because he is underrated in what is being given, but the way the Smarks talk about him, you think he was a second coming.
Yeah.
Alright, so my next pick...
Yes. That's where I get scared.
Well, my next pick is going to be where he belongs. For my next pick is the Monday Night Messiah.
Okay.
With his disciple Murphy.
Okay.
However, they will not be pictured together because Modoc can't handle that shit right now. So Murphy and Seth Rollins. I'm not going to take Austin Theory, who is technically a member of him, because fuck knows what is actually going to go on with him. And I'm not.
But are you going to take AOP?
I'm
not.
You
have the right to do.
Yes, I'm not going to take AOP mainly because, while yes, I could take them and they're able to work and everything else. Right now, they've got an injury floating around on Razor, and I have an idea of a couple of replacements if everything comes out the way I want it to. But Murphy, I've got to have Murphy as well. Murphy's just an unbelievable talent.
Of course.
So
they were on my list, but further down.
Fair enough. There's Seth.
So,
Also, I do love the fact that he went from hardcore, proper rock music to coming out to a choir of fucking angels.
Yeah. But I mean, again, you look at a guy like Seth Rollins, Universal Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion, NXT Champion, first NXT Champion.
Yep. Beating Jinder Mahal in the final. Yeah, and again, you could even go outside of WWE because that's just his WWE accomplishment. Very much so, yeah.
Tyler
Black, former Ring of Honor Tag Team and World Champion. He was a member of the Angel of Four, which possibly has one of the most notorious or infamous, even debuts for anyone in any wrestling company. If you haven't seen the Angel of Fall debut in Ring of Honor, I would suggest to do it. And yes, when I say that, I do not mean because they come out and they do an awesome sort of match or attack someone. It's because you will never forget it.
Well, this is something I have to see.
I'll let you get to that in your own time.
Yes.
So that's obviously my first pick of this draft. Murphy was at one point wrestling's best kept secret, and now is not a secret anymore. He's one of the best workers. Him and Aleister Black last year stole the show on a couple of shows, pay-per-views, including TLC. And Murphy is, himself, former 205 Live champion, although you wouldn't think it because he is huge. But yeah, I mean, he's very much a great talent as well.
Former NXT Tag Team Champion as well.
Along with Blake and of course Alexa Bliss. With the BAMF, the Blake and Murphy factor, Blake, Alexa and Murphy factor. And of course, former Raw Tag Team Champion with the Monday Night Messiah. Yeah. So, I think that is a very good pick for me. And now I'm going to go with a pick that, quite frankly, I'm surprised. I think Boss is expecting me to go with, because it'd be shocking if I didn't. So I'm going to go for a tag team.
Okay.
And I am going to go because I need I need to bolster my tag division up a little bit more. I'm going to go for what is maybe being one half of the best foursome in wrestling recently. For I am going to go with Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders.
That's an excellent pick. That is a fantastic pick.
So yeah, I mean Eric and Ivar. I mean I've been a fan of these guys for a long time, not just because their gimmick is that the Vikings and look at me. Or the fact that I kind of resemble a Geordie version of Eric, or Raymond Rowe, but also because their work in Japan, their work in Ring of Honor, and their work in NXT was just unbelievably fun. In particular, like watching, because these two actually had the debut matches in Ring of Honor against each other, and then teamed up as War Machine, and they kind of evolved, and by the time they got to NXT, it was essentially that, War Machine was just two Viking badasses. And as you can see, like, they're personified by huge, burly men ready to rip your faces off.
Yes.
There's
no denying that was a fantastic pick and a great addition for what will be your tag division.
Exactly. All right. So, with that being said, then, boss, we've ran through everything on there. Eric and Ivar, there you can see them. I don't want to keep them on too long because I think Ivar's eyes actually follow you around the room.
Yeah. So, my first pick of this round will be the big dog, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman actually quite low considering what you'd think from it, but I think it might be purely a case of out of sight, out of mind, maybe.
Yep. And also, for me, bit of game theory.
Yeah, there is that as well, yeah.
Yes.
Alright, 1 second there, boss.
Yep. So, Roman Reigns, former WWE champion, former former Universal champion.
Your former Raw World champion.
Has he ever held the United States title?
Yeah, against Rusev.
Yep. Oh yes. Tag team champion. Multiple time Royal Rumble winner. I think he's won 2 Royal Rumbles.
No, I think he's came close a few times, but he's never actually won 2.
Oh well, there you go. My mistake. But
he's been the last eliminated like 4 times. Just to tease us that he's going to get booed out the building.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, a very strong pick, and I know what some people are going to be like, but I am a fan of Roman Reigns. Do I think he can sometimes be a bit monosyllabic? Yes. Do I think that's because he's heavily structured and not allowed him to be himself? Yes, that's what I think. And I think when you let the big dog be the big dog, he does good work. And I think, just like Stone Cold Steve Austin, in a sense, or just like The Rock, you're not looking for someone who is a great technical wrestler. You're looking at someone that can do what they do in the ring better than anybody else. And Roman Reigns does what he does in the ring better than anybody else. He's got his own style, and I consider him far more versatile than the likes of John Cena, who can do but doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
And I haven't got a gripe with John Cena. I'm not one of these people that hates him for the sake of hating him. But I think in versatility, Roman Reigns can do more and tends to do more, but it's a structure thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the way he's structured.
Very much so.
But I have absolute faith in his ability, and his popularity is going to be a nice help to me.
It is, yeah.
Because again, in our universe, if we didn't make this clear already, I think Geek did, but I'll just repeat the point. This is as if COVID never happened.
Yes. I didn't mention that, but it's basically COVID never happened. But on top of that as well, the way that the breakdown for the scoring, we will go into more detail on that before the actually booking of the shows, so that you have an understanding on how the scoring will actually work. But the match rating is actually based on popularity over wrestling. However, it's not just fully popularity; it's a 60-40 split. So your popularity is 60-40 of your in-ring ability. Therefore, if you have a highly popular superstar who has pretty good in-ring abilities, you're gonna get a decent result 9 times out of 10.
Yes.
So it's a good idea. Roman Reigns, hell of a pick there, boss.
Yes, and as for my second pick of this round, I'm gonna go with the Viper, Randy Orton.
I knew I'd left him too late.
Yeah. Game theory! Randy Orton is a former WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, US champion, tag team champion, former Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, you know, an MVP of Survivor Series. You know, the list goes on and on. Not to mention the legends he is locked horns with: Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Mick Foley, you know, Triple H. You know, the list is endless. You know, he's seen it all and done it all, and is still doing more.
Yeah, and somehow it's reverted back to being the legend killer, even though he's himself a legend. Yes. I mean, it's a hell of a pick, and like I said, I knew I'd picked him a bit too late there to get to him. The idea behind Randy Orton, obviously, as you said, boss, to me, Randy Orton's was always a great talent who, for a while, was saved by a lot of backstage politics. But Randy Orton, to me, look at the character, look at the in-ring work. He was getting there, and then he saw Mick and had the feud with Mick, and that pushed him over the edge. Then when you think that he can't get any better, he seems to get better every single time. So after Mick Foley, obviously he wins the World Championship. After that feud, and then after that, the thing that I think solidified him as I'm on this level now, I'm a main event level, is his Undertaker feud.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That solidified him. After that, he never looked back. Yes, he went down and won the US title here, tag team titles, and maybe another IC title run or something like that. But he was always deemed as it's a main eventer, so he's not lowering himself; he's elevating that championship, and I think that's always been the case. I mean, Randy may be. I mean, JBL said it all the time. If you could build yourself a wrestler, that's what he would look like.
Yes,
he would look like that. He'd move like that. He'd work like that. The guy is. I mean, Cena was called a prototype. That may be the prototype of what a perfect Vince McMahon WWE wrestler is. But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton's a hell of a choice there, boss. A great talent.
Thank you. But now Raw gets 2 picks.
It does, and Raw is gonna go with the outsider, the man who seems to never truly get a start because of maybe injuries or whatever else. But I feel as if I can make sure he gets that start, not a problem, because I'm gonna go for the prize fighter, Kevin Owens.
He was one of my next picks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Kevin Owens. I mean, don't. Yep. I got an ideal. So, I mean, Kevin Owens is just a former NXT champion, former United States champion, former Intercontinental champion, I believe. Yes, he held it for WrestleMania 32. He is a former Universal champion, former Ring of Honor tag team champion with El Generico, former Ring of Honor world champion as wrestling's worst nightmare, or which really should have wrote Jim Cornette's worst nightmare on the shirts. He's the former, I believe, maybe even a TV champion. But and not only that, Kevin Owens has some of the most outstanding matches ever. I mean, Battleground, when he and Sami Zayn fought each other, that was match of the year for me for a long time. But on top of that as well, it was the only reason I watched that pay-per-view. Because that pay-per-view was shit. And that match saved me going, why did I watch that fucking thing? Because of that match. It was so good. Their rivalry, it's been so good to see them go through all sorts of, him turning, his debut night in NXT, turning to his best friend. That's a freaking intro. And then they follow the whole way through, and then they become the Yep movement. Him versus Shane was a great thing as well, because they did it multiple different ways, where Shane was the heel and Shane was the face, and it's just fun. And I believe this whole thing that he's been doing with Seth, where he seems to be the needle in his side. Every time Seth thinks he's got, I'll get that. Fuck off! I've got rid of that. There comes that itch again. And it's Kevin Owens just getting under his skin once again. And I do think that if you wanted to, you could probably turn Kevin heel and have him face Drew. But honestly, I think the problem with that is that if you turn Kevin heel and have him face Drew McIntyre IRL, that they're gonna boo Drew. I think Kevin may be just a little bit more over than Drew McIntyre is, and that's not a thing to say against Drew. I just think that that's the case. That's all.
Yeah. I respectfully disagree. I think if one of them was going to be a heel, it would be Kevin Owens, and I think people would cheer Drew over Kevin. If this was later on in the year, maybe I would agree with you. But right now, with the massive amount of energy that Drew's getting, I would definitely respectfully, but definitely disagree.
That's fair enough.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the other aspect as well is I do think you probably got a point there, because Kevin's heel work is probably better than his face work, and I mean, both of them are very strong heels, but I think Kevin's more of a natural heel.
Yes.
So my next pick is going to be an eye to the future. My next pick is Mustafa Ali.
I'll just delete my next pick.
Mustafa, hey, chase the light, bruh. Chase the light. See, you thought
I call hacks.
You thought your game theory was coming in, didn't you?
It still might. It still might.
No, Mustafa Ali to me is an eye to the future. He's a great young talent. He's over like Rover, and to me, like he hasn't played a heel. I don't think he needs to play a heel. To be honest, I think he's got like a Ricky Steamboat sort of vibe to him, where he's just too cool not to hate. And I also worry if in IRL Vince McMahon turned him heel, we'd go down the stereotypical way. And that's not what the man is. That's not what he's about, you know. And also, I don't know. I kind of want to see Ali versus Murphy in an actual feud on Raw, and Ali versus Black could be just some awesome matches. But yeah, my next pick's Mustafa Ali. I would rhyme off some championships, but I don't actually think he's held any. I don't think he actually got a chance with the 205 Live. But yeah, basically that just threw a freaking frag grenade into Boss's traps.
You're a prick. You're a massive prick.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, right? I had 3 people in my mind to pick. Then I went, no, this is going to screw up the worst.
Yeah. In which case, by the list I have, my next pick will be Rey Mysterio.
Okay, it's fair enough. Rey Mysterio. It wasn't particularly on my list, not unless I had to, but okay. I honestly, I just think Rey's best days are gone, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But one must have a decent balance of faces and heels.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
You know, because obviously one of the things I also looked at before picking my people was whether or not it would be too soon to change them.
I didn't. To be honest with you,
I did.
I didn't, but I should have known the pedantic prick would.
I am the pedantic prick. Yes.
No longer the emperor editing.
I don't do that editing shit anymore. That's just my singing videos.
You're not even the sometimes uploader. That'll be me.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try and edit this fucking shit show.
I am petitioning to have my name changed to the pedantic prince, or the prince prick of pedanticism. But
why?
We'll have to see what.
Why do you want to be prince? I'm the king. Why would you want to be prince? That's weird.
Well, because it's patron saint, like it's kind of religious, and people don't believe in religion, so it's like it'd be nice to have an actual title.
I am the patron saint of the socially awkward, though. So.
Yeah, but you have geekism.
There is. All right, boss. Explain your Rey Mysterio pick.
Right, okay, so we are looking at a former WWE champion, World Heavyweight champion, Intercontinental champion, US champion, Tag Team champion, Royal Rumble winner. He has put on some classic matches throughout the years. Obviously, Cruiserweight champion, we can't ignore that. He has put, and yes, his best days are behind him. Yes, is he going to be able to work as long a match as he has in the past? No. Is he going to be able to put on this kind of stellar matches that he used to? No, but is he still going to be a useful force for me? And with his popularity and the in-ring ability he still has, absolutely. And he's someone that could easily guide the future and be that person that eventually passes the torch. And that's what I'm looking at in a guy like Rey Mysterio, someone that can still give me some good matches and will eventually be able to pass the torch.
That's a very fair point, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why he was on my list.
Fair enough. Your next pick, boss.
I'm going to take the Beast and his advocate, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman.
Yeah, that was literally my thought there. I'll probably take them if he doesn't take them. Like, if he doesn't pick him up, I'll take them too. Like, yeah, that's. I mean, I'll let you run through it, but that's pretty self-explanatory.
Former WWE champion, former Universal champion, and this is NCAA. Was it number 1 division?
NCAA Division 1 heavyweight champion.
Division 1. Yeah. UFC undisputed heavyweight champion. Obviously did a lot of work in New Japan as well. Mm-hmm. Brock Lesnar is, in every sense of the word, a beast.
He is. And in terms of the wrestling business, I pretty much deem him as a necessary evil.
Yeah, he ain't no fucking act. This ain't some fucking cliche that people jumped up for a marquee name. He is a beast, and there is only one man on the planet that can control him, and that is Paul Heyman, and a man who I can easily work with to develop the next Dangerous Alliance.
As I often do.
As Geek often does, and Boss is very aware of. Boss was thinking about when Boss wrote that down.
Yeah, Kaiju often has a Dangerous Alliance.
Where he might have written down in an Excel spreadsheet, "Fuck your Dangerous Alliance, Geek."
Why would you do that? That's just nasty.
Because I'm a prick.
Thought you wanted to be a prince.
Gotta think of something when I'm lying unconscious with a seizure,
Gotta think of something, might as well do that. Fair enough. Alright, that's it. I mean, and as when you mentioned his work in Japan, he is a former IWGP champion as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting down the wire now.
It is. Although there's a few good ones still there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've still got a few names on my list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names and only 2 spots left on this round of this
draft. Yeah, because we are going to limit it. Everyone who's not picked will be taken away to NXT. However, obviously NXT will be available for raids every 3 months. You can only raid every 3 months, so you choose who you want to bring up and everything else. With that in mind, there will be some changes being made to the rosters as we get into the actual seasons.
We'll get into that. Yeah. Geek will very eloquently explain all.
All right. My next pick is a former Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, no.
A former United States Champion.
Oh no.
A former Tag Team Champion.
Oh no.
A former King of the Ring.
Oh no.
A former World Heavyweight Champion. A former WWE Champion.
No.
A Hall of Famer. The Radar Superstar Edge.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, he holds his head going, oh no. That's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I'm absolutely fine and not furiously plotting your demise.
I mean, I ran through it there. The Radar Superstar Edge, Hall of Famer, great. Everything else you want to say about him. Hell of a talent. Can do pretty much anything he wants. And has made a shocking return recently and is in the best shape of his life physically. But also seems to have just this new understanding of in-ring work. He seems to have taken up a notch. I do think that, luckily enough for us, the contract situation means we can use him a lot more than he can be done in real life.
Yes.
I've looked at that already. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a WWE Championship, and you need to have some rankings, you need someone like Edge to give that whole division legitimacy, man. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Edge is one of my favorites, always has been, and to get him at this late in the draft is a fucking steal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a bit of a balancing act with certain things, which is like part of the problem. Alright. And how are you going to fuck me next?
Oh, well, the next one is I need to do a balancing act, as you said.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what better way to balance than to go with a tag team?
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I'm going to go with the Blue Collar Strong themselves. I'm going for Otis and Tucky. Yeah, Tucky. Yeah, I'm going to go for Otis and Tucker. Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, that's a good tag division you got.
Hey, come on, one thing anybody knows about Geek is that his tag division's going to be strong as fuck.
I mean, technically speaking, Otis is still Money in the Bank.
So yeah, I mean, Otis and Tuck, should be former SmackDown Tag Team Champions, as you said, Money in the Bank on there as well. And of course, Otis, while in the game he is actually contracted to Mandy Rose, I'm not taking Mandy as his manager. I am just taking the Heavy Machinery.
Really?
Yes, on there. So,
okay.
Right. Mandy's class as a wrestler. I'm not going to class her as a manager and just take her and steal a vote for that way. But yeah,
that is a fair point. Respectful. Okay.
All right. So I believe this is your last two picks. Then it's my last pick.
Yeah. Now this is where it gets a little bit trickier because I've got to try and think of what's going to be the best strategy. Okay. It's a bit of a risk, but for pick number 14 of the SmackDown draft, I am choosing John Cena.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To be fair,
former WWE champion and World Heavyweight champion, United States champion, tag team champion, Royal Rumble winner, headlined WrestleMania, The Rock twice, as well as other high key matches. John Cena is, at one point the face that truly ran the place.
Whilst
he may not necessarily have as much of that role now, he is still someone that I can definitely work with, even if it's occasional, and someone that I can use to elevate stars without burying John Cena in the process. Someone that I feel I can definitely work with. And I think it's someone that I think I can definitely work with it. And as for my final pick,
one second,
this
bro.
is the hardest one.
Hold on, let John's face appear on TV. Jesus.
Oh shit! Of course, sorry.
You're deep into it, man, weren't you?
I was deep into it, man. I was like, come on, let's go. Where's John Cena?
Well, that's the thing that everyone's always asked. Where's John
Cena? Cena sucks.
Yeah, I mean, John Cena's a hell of a pick. Good idea as he elevates young. There we go. You elevate the younger talent and bring him up while also keeping John on top. So, pretty strong idea to myself. All right, then your final pick, then, boss, and I believe then it's my last pick after that, and then we will we'll be back for the women's draft in just a moment.
So I'm torn because it's someone that I could potentially work with, but I don't know if I have the right creative spot. So I'm going to admit now that I'm not picking Baron Corbin or King Corbin, as he was going to be next on my list. However,
interesting.
I'm concerned that I will not do him justice. And I'm going to pick Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne.
Oh, wow. I actually didn't put Vink and Thorne together because I didn't think anyone would actually pick them. That's a very interesting way of doing it. I believe I have a picture of Thorne on here, but I do not think I actually went and got a Vink one. That's my bad. Let me have a quick look at the tag teams to see if they actually are. If I did do that. No, I didn't.
So,
I did. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So basically, this is. I'm thinking towards the future, and it's not just about having talent that you can work with and talent that can get you the scores that you want. It's also about developing talent so that you've got your stars of tomorrow, because this isn't just going to be a 1-year game. So you want to think about talent that you can elevate to, because the likes of John Cena and Rey Mysterio, and Brock Lesnar are not going to be around forever. At some point, either they're going to leave or they're going to be no longer useful in the ring. So you want to have people who you can take to the future and lead the way. Now, these are two people that could be a very good tag team, but I could also build them up as individuals to form, strong talent. And not just good hands, but, strong talent in their own right.
Yeah.
Both as a team and singular. So it goes back to almost my first pick, where it's not just about picking a great team, but picking great individuals. So it's kind of a return to the theory. And
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And that is my final pick for the men's round of the TEW Bookmark 2020 draft. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of interesting picks that's left over here for myself.
Yes. There's
a couple of established people, a lot of younger talent that I could build up, a lot of talent that I will go nowhere near.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with someone who's a bit of a favourite of mine to work on, a bit of a project, and while his current gimmick is shit, don't worry, that will be getting re-sorted. And it's Shorty G.
You're right. Yes.
Chad Cable will be my last pick. Former multi-time tag team champion in both NXT and in WWE on SmackDown side, as part of American Alpha. Also tag team member of Benjamin and Gable. Obviously had a lot of runs recently and turned heel as well. On TV. So an interesting one for me. I think for me, I always like to try and build at least one person and try and push them to the top of the thing. I've done it in the previous games where I've actually made Ali a main eventer, and with Gable, I think he's got all the potential in the world.
But the thing is, you have done that. Good work.
Sorry, I need you to repeat that, boss, because I think we may have lost you there for a second.
I said you've played in previous TW games and you have made it work. You've not done it in the 2020 set yet, but
no.
When we did TW 16, you did actually do some great work with Chad Gable as he was then, and that was like just after Jason Jordan had unfortunately taken his injury, which we didn't know at the time would retire him.
Yeah.
So given the kind of momentum he's built since then in this mod, I think Chad Gable is someone that's going to be, if not a future WWE champion, certainly a future United States champion.
There'll be certainly a lot of work. I don't think there'll be much work needed to do it, other than perspective, really. I think I can do well with Gable, and don't get me wrong, Shorty G will be fucking changing. I imagine that. So that is the round on there. What we'll do quickly is, boss, run through your selections, certainly, and then I will run through myself, and then we'll take a brief pause, and we'll be back again on another video you guys will be able to see with the women's round of the draft. Okay, so in order of draft pick, we have the first pick of SmackDown was the Artist Collective, which was Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Sami Zayn. Followed by The New Day, which is Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. After that, it was The Miz and Morrison. After that, it was Daniel Bryan. Followed by Andrade and Angel Garza with Zelina Vega. Then we took what was the current WWE champion in Drew McIntyre, followed then by his friend Sheamus. We then moved to the future where we took Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. After that, we took Dolph Ziggler, followed by Roman Reigns. The Legend Killer Randy Orton came up as number 11, followed by The Legend, that is Rey Mysterio at number 12, and then The Beast, unlucky 13 for many, Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Number 14 was John Cena, and then the last pick of SmackDown as they look to the future was Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne. Excellent. And for myself, I don't have my picks in order. To be honest with you, I just have them in alphabetical as they appear on my draft screen. So what it will be is, don't worry if you're going to get a bit of a pause. Now, boss, stay in the screen. We're just going to... There we go. We'll go back to the original page. Well, I don't know, but you keep moving around a lot. So my picks for Monday Night Raw were The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, The Phenomenal AJ Styles, Aleister Black, the Anti-Hero, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, the Street Profits, The Hurt Business of Bobby Lashley, Shelton, Benjamin, and MVP, because business is good, guys. The Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, the Radar Superstar, as we pause for a second, Edge, the Viking Raiders of Eric and Ivar, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, the prize fighter Kevin Owens, Matt Riddle, the Monday Night Messiah Seth Rollins and his disciple Murphy, the Light in the Darkness Mustafa Ali, the Blue Collar Solid of Heavy Machinery's Otis and Tucker. For some reason I have Randy Orton as Raw. I'll change that on my street. And Shorty G, along with someone, I'm guessing. But no, that's all my picks on there as well. I'm sure if I've missed anyone, you guys will comment and tell me. But
you'll see when you edit the video.
Yeah, there'll be that as well. Although I'm guessing by the time that I've edited the video, I still miss shit. Alright, that's going to be all from ourselves, guys, on this particular video. We'll be doing the women's draft along with the non-WWE wrestlers on the next video, which will be coming to you, hopefully, right after this one. But until then, remember to follow myself at Geek Streams, GW3KSTREAMS on Twitter. Boss, hit them with your social media.
It's basically everywhere you can find me at SteveJones313. That's SteveJones313. You write out the numbers.
My link for my Twitch is available on my channel page. Remember, subscribe, like, and everything else that you want to, if you think we deserve it. If not, I don't give a shit and go watch something else. But other than that, I will leave.
You do you, fam. It's
exactly, fine. You do. So from one bookmark to another, that's Mark out.